Our final speaker for today is a man who, as they say in the cliche, needs no introduction, so I'm not going to give him one. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bill Cullen.
Anyway, I just want to say and echo what the last speaker just said, that this is an iconic place. Croke Park is part of our heritage, going way back to the 1920s and many, many other things that have happened here since. And I happened to appear here back in 1952, giving a gymnastic display before the All-Ireland. Didn't I do great? Didn't I do great? But I have to say, apart from giving appearances on the pitch, I was here in Croke Park for every game that was played between 1948 and 1960. Every game, every Sunday I was here. Do you know what I was doing? Working. I was selling me apples and me oranges outside the gates. Right? I was at the churches beforehand selling the newspapers with me five brothers and me 6 sisters. We sold 3,000 newspapers every Sunday morning. And we sold the News of the World for the page 3. Everyone bought the News of the World, and you could get treble the price for it. So we learned about business as very young kids here in Dublin. And that's what we had to do, because there was no dole. I've said this to people before. There was no dole then. If you didn't work, you didn't eat. So we had to go out and earn all the time. And it was in Croke Park that made me. It made me a businessman, because we had to think about how we were going to bring home some money for the man, apart from selling the apples and apples. So when we sold the apples and oranges, they were in wooden boxes. And what did we do with the boxes? We brought them in here to where there was no seats. And the little Dublin fellas would have to stand up in the boxes to see over the big Kerry fellas. And then so many of them would jump up in the boxes, break in bits, and we'd collect the bits after the match and we'd sell it for firewood the next week. That's called ancillary activities in business, right? That's what you have to do, use up all the bits. It's thinking and it's working. Nothing happens without work. And the one thing that we always had to do, my mother made sure everyone in our family was out of bed before 6:30. And you know how she did that? She got the bed and she went, whoop, up in the air. And you landed on your bum and you got up and you went out and you did something. So that's what's happening today. We're in tough times today, guys. We're in tough times. And we all have to learn that we have to contribute more. And that's all. And it means working a little bit harder and doing a little bit more in the context of whatever you're doing. Now, for all you boys and girls in the school, I have to say I was very impressed by what I saw outside. Where's me Oreo girls? Are they here? Hello! You are terrific. They gave me a little present for Jackie. And I'll go home tonight and Jackie say, well, bejesus, you were thinking of me today for a change. Isn't that great? I'll go home and they have her name on it, and it's terrific. Where's the girls with the phones with the 2 SIM cards in it? Oh! So there's lots of innovation out there. I saw half a dozen stands that was really impressive. But I saw 6 stands that was no one there that. The guys had all gone off for their lunch or wah, 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 wah. And it's the old saying, you know, if you snooze, you lose. Because there are things being sold out there. So that's what I want to say to every one of the young people today. Ireland has a heritage that's unbeatable. And there's very few people here who heard John Fitzgerald Kennedy in the Dial in 1963. Bart, were you there? Did you hear about it? He made a wonderful speech, and I heard it. Because he said, the Irish are the greatest nation on this planet. We have a genetic code that's impenetrable. We have survived 800 years of suppression and have come out of it with the strongest DNA of any country in the world. And I said, wow! And I said that night to me, Ma, wasn't he terrific? Yeah. And I said, Ma, could I be President of the United States of America? And she said, no, son. You have to be an American citizen. And I said, that's easy. Go to America and marry an American girl. If someone would have you. But then she said, oh no, you have to be born in America. And you had to think, what do you do? How do you get around that? And that came to me very easy. I said, I'll go to America, get into politics and change that law because it's racist. So what I'm trying to say to you is, there's nothing you can't do. Everything you have up here, your mind controls your body. We all have the potential within here inside us to do what we believe we can do. And there's too many people get the wooden overcoat and have it all left inside them. Do you know what I'm saying? Use it. The potential. The Irish potential in particular. Everything you have helps you achieve. I had one mantra in school, and I didn't last in school long, by the way. I was kicked out. I was expelled at 13. I'll tell you why in a minute. But in school, I had one mantra. I'm going to be in the top 3. I'm going to be in the top 3. We got 3 exams every year, and Cullen was always in the top 3. Do you know why? You got a prize of £1 if you got into the top 3. I mean, Matt used to say to me, don't you come home without that £1 in the exams. That's called pressure. But that's the great way of getting people to do things. And we have to realise there's nothing we can't do. One of my most famous icons in the world is a fella called Muhammad Ali. Do you remember him? What is he? A boxer. I met him in 1972 when he boxed here in Croke Park. Anyone remember that? Yeah, Pat remembers that one. He was here in Croke Park fighting a fella called Al Blue Lewis. I found out where he was staying. He was staying up in the hotel up in Kiltiernan Park Hotel. It's in Naman now, sign of the times. And he was staying up there, and I went up to the gate, and I went in. Can I go in here? I said, no, it was police. It's only Mr. Clay is here and all his people. So I waited outside the next morning at 4 o'clock till he came out training at 6, and I went up the road with him. And I'm wearing my lovely All-Ireland tracksuit. Irish international soccer player, Irish international table tennis player, and I looked elegant and lean at the time. And I waited, and out he came, and he went jogging up the road with a few guys in his tracksuit and a hoodie on him. And I came up beside him and said, how you doing, guys? What do you do? And Muhammad Ali said to me, what do I do? I'm the boxer. And we had the hoodie on to here. I said, yeah, boxing? Violence, don't like that. And I went running on. And he said, hey, you? I'm Muhammad Ali. I said, yeah, and you're a boxer. I said, and who do you box for? He said, hey, I'm the champion of the world. And I said, geez, you look very slow to me. And I went on and up, and I sat at Johnny Fox's pub there, and he eventually came up and he started shadow boxing me. He'd say, hey, you don't know who I am, do you look who I am? Oh, I said, I recognise you now. Geez, I'd love to have a chat with you. Will you come back to my hotel down here in Kiltiernan and we could have breakfast together? He said, you staying in that hotel? I said, yeah, come on then, let's go. And that's how you get in to have breakfast with Cassius Clay, right? The thing about that man was, in 1960, at age 18, he won the light heavyweight champion of the world in the Olympic Games. Anyone know where the Olympic Games was in 1960? In Rome. And his real name was Cassius Marcellus Clay. He was called after a Roman general. And he said to me that when he went there that year, and he went to see the Colosseum, and he stood in it, he said he could hear everyone around. He could hear the crowds that were in there saying, Hail Cassius. And he said he knew this was his destiny. He went and he won the gold medal. What did he do then? Went back to New York, up to the Appalachian Mountains, a little hut, and stayed there for 3.5 years, fighting once a month, won 33 fights, put on 3 stone of muscle, and then beat Sonny Liston and became the world champion. And what I'm saying, you have to give sacrifice. Nothing comes without discipline and sacrifice. There's lots and lots of people here who will reach 50 and say, I should have done this, and I should have done that. So don't be a shoulda. Decide what it is you want to do in this life and go out and do it. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. And Kipling has a poem that says, success and failure are the opposite sides of the same coin. It's how you treat those 2 little buggers that count. My mother said to me, there's no such thing as failure. The only failure is not trying. Everyone here is a trier. You go out and do your best. You work hard to be better than you are now, and you have to work hard to be better than the other guy. When I went from 14 to 22, from sweeping floors to being managing director, that happened because I went ahead of everybody else and outworked everybody else, and still do. I still do. I still work 18, 20 hours a day and love it. So it's not work when you're enjoying it. Do you understand that? Okay? So, I want to see everybody giving their best. You're all coming up to exam time as well as this, right? Remember the mantra, I'm going to be in the top 3. Thank you very much.